Prestige worldwide. Why?
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide welcomes you to the following presentation of the League of Extraordinary Dicks.
Welcome into the season finale episode of the League of Extraordinary Dicks podcast. I'm joined by my esteemed and always handsome co-host, Drew Riley. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hi guys. A little defeated in life, but you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, we'll get into that shortly. But how was your Christmas?
Oh, Christmas was wonderful. Kids loved it. I enjoyed it. So we had all around good Christmas. Hope y'all did as well.
We did. We had to extend Christmas Day. We had someone get sick on Christmas Eve, but made it for today. And so I'm pretty jazzed with all the cool stuff I got. I don't know if I can't see this, but I've got a picture or a T-shirt with Ace's picture on
it. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was surprised with that one.
Hey, it's always nice to have pictures of your pets.
That's right. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into this week's action, or last week's action, covering 2 of the championship games as well as 2 Princess Cup games. We'll jump into that was going to be Zano versus Matt. Zano ended up winning 92-82.
Player of the game, Cameron Dicker for Zano. I think he had 21-something points. When you get good points from kicker, it's a good day.
Oh, Cameron, the kicker Dicker, had to come along and pick up the slack for Indianapolis's defense. They put up 0 points for him, so he had to do double time and put in just a little extra to get Zano that much needed win. Well, yeah, he definitely played lights out last night and put any Brock Purdy MVP talk to rest by going head to head and just absolutely embarrassing them.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy put his own self to rest after that performance.
Also jumping in here, Jonathan Taylor had a pretty respectful day with 43 yards. Got him over the hump was a touchdown. And then I was watching the Ravens 49ers game. I was really, really hoping that Zano had started George Kittle, but he didn't. He went with David Njoku, but it also wasn't a bad start. Kittle got 3 more points than Njoku, but Njoku ended up putting 13.
Yeah, well, Kittle has been such a hit or miss this year, and Njoku with Flacco has been kind of almost a lock for guaranteed 10 points. So it was a smart play. That he finished out on the good either way at the tight end position for this week.
An area that I feel like Zano was really let down by. Alvin Kamara had a pretty favorable matchup against the Rams. They were pretty tough, but he only ended up putting up 6 points. But you think someone like Alvin Kamara is they're almost matchup proof. It doesn't matter who they're playing; they're always usually going to put up good points.
Yeah. With Zano had a lot of boom or bust players this week, and a lot of his boom players went bust this week. DJ Moore only put up, I think, 5-6 points, along with Kamara only getting 16 rushing yards. So, like we talked earlier, Dicker and Lamar are having big games, put up almost half his points. So, which he needed. So, but all you need is get the W in the Princess Cup, and who cares how you get it. So
that's right. Just get a W and get out of that dress. So I will say one thing for DJ Moore though is he got hurt on like the first play of the game. There was a pass to DJ Moore and they had one of those hip drop tackles that landed right on his ankle. So I mean he finished the game, but I think he was just out there as more of a decoy than anything. Looking over to Matt's side of the team or side of the week. Trevor Lawrence continues his downward spiral. he only not even put up 10 points, and this man is beat to hell right now. So he's got a game coming up against the Panthers, and it's not like he's going to end up, or he may or may not even play because they're already signing quarterbacks off practice squads and everything.
Yeah, I thought they kind of rushed him with the concussion, truthfully, but who knows what they're going to do. He got a separated shoulder now, too, so it doesn't help against a weak Tampa passing offense. He only put up 9 points. It's not very good. It's coming from a Tampa fan. So,
and then Matt it looks like he just had some coaching choices as far as how to set his roster just go wrong. On his bench, Zay Flowers got 17 points. Gus Edwards has 13 points, and Tyler Algier has 15 points. So, just a couple unfortunate coaching decisions that went the wrong way. But good thing for Matt as he goes back, as he is now in the Princess Cup final, is that Bijan appears to be a maybe. Maybe he's good because he's put up 2 out of the last 3 weeks. He's put up 15 plus points, whereas last week he had negative 0.1 points. So
yeah,
it's still not settled for sure.
I don't know what Matt does because he got Algier taking away, goal line touches from Bijan. So it's like, if Arthur Smith doesn't get fired, I'm not really sure what Atlanta's doing because I think he's ruined that team offensively with his scheme, and I think they just need a fresh new start.
You and I were talking before the show about potential head coaches for the Panthers. I mean, I'm with you. I fully expect Arthur Smith to be fired. But if Ben Johnson keeps coming up as a name in Carolina, but if I'm Ben Johnson, you said before the show, why would you not want to go to someone like the Chargers who's got established weapons? I kind of feel like that's the case here in Atlanta. I mean, the only thing you're missing is a quarterback, and this team's not going to be good enough. You might be in a position to go get one.
Yeah, and the rumor has it right now is they want Fields, and I hope no. But
yeah,
but you never know. I mean, I think Arthur Blank kind of wants his Michael Vick back, so I could definitely see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. If you're Ben Johnson, you got Bijan, you do have Algier, which is similar to actually it's a better version of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and then Drake London. I think Drake London's really a number 2, but I mean, for now he's doing number 1 work, which is good. And then Kyle Pitts is there. I mean, I think it's just talent there to take advantage of, and it could be a landing spot for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson will make the smartest move for himself, and I don't. Even though, like you said, Tepper is all willing to offer up the money, but I don't. Sometimes money ain't all what it brings to you.
But yeah, moving on. I guess to just the rest of Matt's team, had a good day from Evan Ingram, putting up 12, almost 13 points. And then Devon Achane, I only got one more week to say it, that, he is not taking over the backfield yet, and he was not returned to that midseason scare that I was, but hey, it could still happen, Drew. It could still definitely happen.
I saw a lot of Jeff Wilson last week because Tampa was up 30-0. I was like, let me turn on an interesting game, I guess, because this one's kind of just blowout now. And I saw a lot of Jeff Wilson when that final drive, so I wasn't really sure what was going on. But again, whenever they get inside the 5, most of it comes out to throw a tutty in there. So I think he might be all right.
I just need one more week out of Mostert. I mean, I know your brother being a big Dolphins fan doesn't want to hear this, but if he can just get me through one more week, just gut it out and get the. I don't care what he does in week 18, but take that time to heal it for the playoffs. But yeah, well, I mean, if you're mad though, you got to be encouraged because Tyler Algier, as you mentioned, is getting some carries. Do you risk going into the Princess Cup with both Bijan and Tyler Algier as your starting running back?
Oh, that's a rough one. I don't know. I mean, Matt's got so many multiple players on each team that it's like you pick your poison on which one's going to do good this week. But I can't, in my personal opinion, I can't risk 2 running backs on the same team starting.
Yep, there's only one football. And plus, Gus Edwards is doing well. And I've said it a couple weeks ago. Lamar is the most dangerous when he's passing the ball and not focusing on the run. Leave the running to Gus Edwards, and that seems to be what's happening here because Gus Edwards is doing pretty well here lately. So yeah, the next one we're going to discuss here is Bowen taking on Shaq. Yep, happy little TDs ended up getting the win and finally getting rid of that crown. He won 100-79. So our two-time LED princess will not make it a three-peat.
Nope.
And I think we had come to agreement. If he had won a third time, I'm like, yeah, you can leave. You can leave the league if you want. Like he's like, I don't know if I can do it 3 times.
Yeah, that'd be rough. And then with the way freaking CD Lamb started, 4 catches, like 96 yards in the first quarter. I thought it was just gonna be a runaway for him, but then he cooled down, so kind of made it a little bit interesting. But he had Pickens on the bench, so but who saw Pickens having a blowout game like that? But
no one did.
AJ Brown got his targets catch. Your favorite tush push got Jalen Hurts' rushing touchdown. So, I mean, he got what he needed. And Chuba Hubbard, fighting through a shitty Panthers O-line, got his rushing touchdown. So, which you had said you had a fun time at, which was a good game to go to.
It was a good one to go to. They actually looked pretty competent, and they looked like a good actual NFL team on the second half. So, it was fun to watch. It was actually nice to give me in the stands and have a legitimate let's go because you were legit excited and not just trying to will yourself to be excited. But yeah, I mean, Chuba had 16 carries for 43 yards and he steamrolled this guy in front of us for a touchdown. So like he continues to get good carries, which between that and Adam Thielen, these are both really good pickups for Bowen during the season. I know none of these guys were drafted, so he ended up picking them up. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles needed to win desperately. And I think they were looking for, they were looking to make a statement, a get right game, if you will. And so Jalen Hurts, but 23 points to AJ Brown's 11. That was a big driving force for Bowen, and as it has been all year. And then CeeDee Lamb putting up 22 points. And he left a couple on the bench, as you said, with George Pickens, but I mean, no one could have possibly predicted that. So he did what he needed to get by, and that's all you need to do is one win, right? Just one win, and you're safe from the trust.
Yep. And Shaq's team, I think we questioned Barkley being benched for Singletary. Proved to be, the wrong play. It wouldn't have helped, but it would have helped make it closer to what it would have been. And so, I'm not. Shaq's only got 3 bench players looking at his team right now, so I'm not really sure what he's doing because he might just be wanting a princess dress right now, but who knows?
Well, he did ask for it in the Facebook group today. He asked for the crown, and Matt, being a man of honor, was not going to give him the crown so easily. He's like, "Look, I put myself in this situation. I'm gonna play for it." So
you got to.
Yeah. But listen, the benching of Saquon, I at least understand the logic. I mean, if you look at Devin Singletary's last 2 weeks, I mean, it was 12.5 points for 19 points. Saquon had been a little hit or miss. So, I mean, I at least get the logic because while it looks ridiculous on paper, from an outsider's perspective, I get the logic. So Shaq's just trying to get a win so he can get out of the dress, but it just didn't. The roll of the dice didn't work out that way.
No, he's got to find a tight end. Baker to Godwin and Evans look right now is looking pretty good. So, and then Rashad White's playing pretty well. So he needs to find a different tight end for this week, in my opinion. And then Hopkins, if Hopkins doesn't have Levis, so and Tanny Thrill, is in there. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting with a couple Jacksonville players, and it's gonna be an interesting week against Shaq and Matt.
Calvin Ridley, really, really good. So I mean, yeah, he's looking to get Trevor Lawrence to start in. One thing I did notice as I was watching the game that they finally gave DeAndre Swift a goal line carry. You know, it wasn't just an automatic tush push. I mean, it was like 5 yard, and they gave it to him and he scored. So I know I tried to trade for Swift early in the season after his early season success, and that's one I'm kind of glad Shaq said no to, because I would be very, very frustrated if I'm DeAndre Swift with this whole Jalen Hurts sets a new record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback.
Oh,
Bro,
this is just a salty Cody coming out right here. This is just a salty Cody.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And I'm not even trying to hide it. I'm just letting you know when Cam Newton did it, he was running through a bitch's face. When Jalen Hurts was just getting pushed. So, well, you know, the just push. There's an asterisk next to this record. So,
Oh man, that's great.
who do you like? I'm not sure if Shaq is doing much listening to this podcast, but who do you start if you're a quarterback? You got Mahomes and Dak Prescott. Dak taking on Detroit, and then Mahomes against Cincinnati.
I don't think I could trust Mahomes. As weird as it sounds, I think I roll with a hot hand in Dak, and because they need to win to try to just not be a wild card team. So I'd roll with Dak if it was me.
Yeah, and plus Buffalo was creeping up, so I feel like Kansas City needs to win more than Dallas right now, since Dallas is already in. But if Kansas City's fighting for a like good seeding, they need a good play from Patrick Mahomes. Which, I've looked at his numbers here. Like, Mahomes has put up. I mean, there's like one game this whole year he's put up single digits. So I mean, it's not like the man's a scrub at all, but he's not Mahomes-esque as we're used to.
No, not even close.
We'll briefly touch on these championship bracket games before we move on to this week. We'll jump in the first one. Dirty Skivvies taking on Peeping Tomlinsons. Dirty Skivvies ended up winning 149 to 105 in a big thrashing. And that came by way of Amari Cooper breaking out for 46 points. Just something completely out of left field.
Wait, Joey Bag of Donuts, Flacco, lighting it up. No one, I did not see it coming, that's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, if Joe Flacco keeps playing like that, it's going to be good for Joe. But he gets a tough defense this week with the Jets, so it'll be an interesting matchup between Cooper and Sauce.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting anything from Amari Cooper. I'm actually really excited to see the resurgence of Joe Flacco, just getting signed off the couch and just playing so well. And I don't know if you've noticed, like, he throws some of these touchdowns and he's just like no emotion. He's just Joe Cool as he walks down the field. So, yeah, big explosion from Amari Cooper. The only hope for Brendan in this game, and me and you and I kind of like laid it out there for Brendan last week, that the only hope for this game was if Baltimore could slow down Debo and McCaffrey. They slowed down Debo, and they kind of held McCaffrey in check to his projection. But I mean, Joe's team is just so stacked right now that it's going to be hard to overcome all of them when they're playing at such a high level.
Yeah.
A kicker on the bench that had 23 points, so it could have been much, much worse.
Oh, yeah. Dang. What? He had Sanders, right? So Sanders played.
Yep.
Sanders played pretty well.
Dallas Goedert coming back strong after the broken arm, had 7 catches for 71 yards. Kenneth Walker held in check a little bit, but as you said several times this year, Tennessee's got a pretty good rush defense. So they were held in check there. And then, Josh Allen just being Josh Allen, and he leads the league in touchdowns or touchdowns in both running and passing. So, again, that's just one of those things. If you're going to beat Joe, you got to hope to keep him in check. So,
yeah.
But good season from Brendan. I talked to him before. He said that this was definitely his best statistical season he's had in the league history. So, congratulations on a very successful year. It's just some ill-timed injuries were the demise of the Peeping Thompsons this year with Herbert and Keenan Allen.
Sure was. So he had a chance if they stayed healthy, but unfortunately they didn't. So,
Yep. We'll move on to our game last week. It was I know the score says I won by 14, but it got down to 2 points, and your boy was sweating last night. Watching Monday Night Football.
Say if San Fran didn't get that sack, that was probably a 52-yarder, and then who knows what would happen. But Ayuk came alive in the fourth quarter. Your play of the week though was picking up Koo instead of starting Matt Gay, because you kept Matt Gay and rolled with I would beat you.
Yeah, you've heard me talk about here. I've been playing or trying to set my roster up for these two games, and Matt Gay was the kicker to have schedule wise. Which, I mean, who can predict kickers? You can sit here and say like, "Oh man, wide receivers got to touch an easy matchup against this secondary." Bro, it's a kicker. Like, I don't know how you can really predict that, but with him being hurt, I was like, I'm not gonna risk it, and I just took the best name that I could recognize at that point. So, but we were dealt a blow this week. We were dealt a big blow. Starting tight end T.J. Hawkinson now out for the season with a torn MCL and ACL. So that's going to be a long rehab for old Hawk, and it's not necessarily an indicator that he's going to be a good tight end next year.
Nah, it'll probably roll into spring training, if not first couple weeks playoff or regular season. So be interesting for sure what happens.
Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert held in check by the Dallas defense. They did enough to get the job done, but they did not put up those explosive numbers that we have been used to seeing all year.
No.
I was going to say, as we mentioned earlier, Raheem Mostert had that injured ankle early on in the game. He was able to come back and score a receiving touchdown, but he's been very banged up. Tyreek Hill coming off his ankle injury, so I hope that is not a indicator of how things are going to be for the rest of the season. So yeah, those are my two big playmakers, Tyreek and Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, same. And then Mostert got the touchdown needed to get there, along with Metcalf. He had a nice one-handed little juggle in the corner. So I mean, he got the necessary plays. Waddle went down with a high ankle injury after I think second quarter. I mean, that dude is like always getting hit by something, done something. He got poked in the eye at the beginning of the game, and then he took a little bit to come back. Then he rolled his ankle. So
the poke in the eye looked like more painful than the ankle injury.
I mean, it went straight in there, So, but yeah, I can't complain from what the team did. Jamar Chase got hurt, so Tyler Boyd put up respectable numbers. Kyron Williams, I think I saw something today. He missed 4 games, and he is 5th in the league, I think, in rushing yards. So it's been he was the bright spot of the year, and then like you predicted, Kyler Murray, had the easiest schedule. He put up decent points along the fields. So I mean, it was an all-around good matchup between us two. The better team clearly won, as you are 13-1. Moving on to 15 or 14-1. So good luck to you in the finals.
Very commendable season. Just because you were wheeling and dealing, no one was wanting to trade this year, but you stayed very adamant on going out and get your guys. As we mentioned before, I think the only one that may have bitten you was the CeeDee Lamb trade, but I think a couple weeks post trade, I think I'm regretting the Mike Evans trade a little bit. I would definitely like to have Mike Evans as opposed to Ayuk now, because Debo is doing so well recently. Debo seems to be the focal point that's not named McCaffrey in San Francisco. So, and the only reason Ayuk put up 14 points was because bearded Sam Darnold came in and did work. It's bearded Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold had a clean shave, nothing would have happened.
Bearded Sam Darnold just stared down Ayuk.
Hey, that's fine with me.
Yeah, clearly, but I think Purdy wanted to come back in, but I think Shanahan pretty much just said, "No, you're done for the day, and you'll get back at it next week." So we'll see.
I guess one more thing of note here was I woke up Sunday morning to the news of Josh Jacobs is probably not going to play, after hearing all week long that, like, oh yeah, we expect him out there. I'd be surprised if he didn't play. And like the head coach was saying he was going to be out there, and then I don't think he's going to play, which just ticked me right off. So uh, I was hoping I got Zamir White after someone. Let's see.
That was me.
Yeah, you dropped him last week. Yeah, I got Zamir White, and just in case, and it ended up paying off. No touchdown, but he did put up 145 yards rushing. So I got what I needed to out of him.
It sure did. So it's gonna be a fun matchup between you two in the finals.
Well, let's jump into the last two games of the year. The first one we'll do is we're gonna do Matt versus Shaq in the Princess Cup final. As previously mentioned, Shaq wants the crown now, right? I don't know if Shaq wants the crown or if Shaq just feels like he should be given the crown. But Matt, being a man of honor, gonna make him work for it. So I guess just looking at these team rosters here, who do you like with their matchup, and what do you see for this week?
Ooh. Who saw Shaq's team being 3-11 in the Princess Cup final? I know I didn't.
Dude, I don't know. It's so infuriating. I just even for me, I'm just watching. I'm like, this team is too good. This team is too good to be where they're at.
So, but if you're looking at it, roster, obviously you like Shaq's team, but the last couple of weeks Shaq just hasn't been putting up points, and it's wondered, does he break through this week? Who's it going? I think the fantasy gods and Matt quitting the league is somehow going to turn to where Matt wins and solidifies Shaq getting the Princess Cup this year. So somehow, some way, I think Matt somehow pulls this off and takes it home.
Well, I mean, we can let's look at this real quick, because right now it does have Trevor Lawrence in the starting lineup for Matt. We don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to play, and Trevor Lawrence is projected to put up 15 points. The backup on Matt's team is Jake Browning as well as Aiden O'Connell. So, I mean, assuming Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, and if I'm Jacksonville, I'd give him the week off, man. Just give him the week off. Like, y'all are in a pretty good position playoff wise. Let him rest up. So if I'm Jacksonville, I wouldn't play him, but I'm not Doug Peterson, so.
Right now it's 94-90. Shaq projected to win. His running backs got a pretty soft matchup with Etienne and against Carolina and Swift against Arizona, who let Herbert and Fields and just run. And so I think it comes down to his tight end and wide receiver play. See what they're going to do. See what leads Shaq to victory. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Are you going to start Saquon this week if you're Shaq?
Oh, man. Boy. I don't know. This is one of those where
okay, I'll answer this one, and I'll tell you why though. But it's exactly what you said though. I think I'm going to start Saquon over Singletary because of that Tennessee rush defense that you've talked about. I know the Rams are also very tough, but I mean, Tommy DeVito was out for the Giants, and everything kind of seemed to go through Barkley. I mean, does that sound logical to you? I mean, that's why I would think.
It seems logical, and they benched DeVito and put Tyrod, so it could just turn into a double option, read option thing going on there. I mean, I like Saquon over Singletary because they both got tough matchups this week, so it's going to be interesting. But I think I do start Dak over Mahomes this week if I'm Shaq.
Yeah, that's not gonna. I think the only change here for the projected points is if he ends up starting Saquon, he goes up to 96 as opposed to 94. So I guess when I look over at Matt's team though, I mean, I think you got to start Gus Edwards. I think the Von Achane train is probably gone for this particular season. I know they're playing Miami, and see, this is weird. This is what part I don't like about Yahoo. Achane, even though he has not done anything the last 3 weeks now is projected at 12 points, whereas like Algier and Gus Edwards are projected at 8 and 9 points.
Mm.
I mean, what do you do there?
Just, I mean, that's just. I think they're just banking on the boom or bust potential that Achan has, which got him all them points in the first couple weeks when he played. I mean, I think I think you put Zay Flowers in, and I think you put Edwards in. They've both been. I definitely don't start Achan.
That's what I was gonna say. I've been in the Princess Cup final. You've been in the Princess Cup final. At that point, it's not the time to play safe, right? Because I mean, you could go with the logic of, I want to try to get as many like what's the. I know these players have a certain floor, right? So you know you can expect these certain points, but it's the last game of the season. There's a big punishment on the line. Do you put in your boom players or like potentially super high ceiling players with a lot of potential, or do you play it safe?
Well, just seeing how Achan has been playing for Dolphins the last couple weeks, I don't think there's any way I start him. I think Edwards is,
I agree.
the goal line, inside the 5, throw it in there back for Baltimore, and Zay Flowers has been a hell of a rookie for him this year. So I think those are 2 safe bets, and Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, we're going to need to do some damage against that Jets D to, kind of bring them safeties and to help a Cooper, against you, which you don't happen, but they're going to have to run the ball if they want to throw on the Jets this week.
Yeah. So that's going to be a big coaching decision for old Matt there. And I do want to point out, like, for Jerome Ford, we got Jerome Ford currently in the flex, Zay Flowers on the bench, Gus Edwards on the bench, Algier on the bench. I am going to release something at the end of the season to kind of shows the increase in points, which I fully expected to be a large number of, since we've gone to half-point PPR, we've jumped up this percentage of points for wide receivers, this percentage of points for running backs since going to half-point PPR. So I think that will be helpful for people as they get ready for next season to see where the points are coming from. So that's just something to keep an eye on coming forward.
Yeah.
Moving on to the LED Championship, the Dick Super Game 12. Got Carolina Rain taking on the Dirty Skivvies. And the Dirty Skivvies are currently favored. They're up from this morning. They were an 11-point favorite this morning. Then the news of TJ Hawkinson being out for the season broke, and he's now a 17-point favorite. Buddy, me and you have been talking about this for a couple weeks, though. I think when we were on last week, I think me and you are in agreement that the 3 of us were fighting for the honor of getting kicked in the teeth by Joe.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, you and Joe have been going at it all year, so it's it makes sense for this to be the finals. But Joe's projected 17 points. You gotta expect McCaffrey to, if not hit his projected points, to just smash it. And so I think, Josh Allen gets New England at home. So, you expect Josh Allen to put up his 20, his projected points. Cooper is the one that's going to be kind of iffy for Joe this week. He gets, like I said, he gets Sauce. And then James Conner gets a tough Philly D and Goddard. Even though Arizona's run D's atrocious, their passing isn't as bad, especially towards tight ends, as what this says. So the only questionable thing I have for Joe right now is whether he starts San Fran's D or Cleveland's D. So I don't know what he does on that.
Let's see. It doesn't change projections. He'll still be at 118, but
I think San Fran's gonna want to kick someone in the throat because of them getting so many points scored on this week. So, but who knows?
So I look at this and I think the only chance I have against Joe, I need a couple factors. I need a big game from Tyreek, which I didn't get from Tyreek last week, and they're playing the Ravens. I need a big game from Mostert, who's also playing the Ravens. I also need McCaffrey to be like right at his projected points, nothing more, and then Debo right at his projected points or less. I expect Josh Allen to get 24, even if he throws a couple picks or fumbles or whatever. Another thing that I'm gonna need to win is Kenneth Walker to be held in check. He's playing the 13th ranked defense of Pittsburgh, and I mean honestly, I just don't. That's just too many variables for me that I need to happen. I mean, he's already a 65% favorite, and we've not even taken the snap yet. So I just think it's too many variables to overcome, and I think just his players have too many good matchups. Like they're elite players anyway, and they're playing against very soft opposition. And I think it's just the bad timing on my part. So
this
is that what you're seeing? I'm just trying to keep it real here.
No, I mean, Miami gets the number one defense right now. In my opinion, Josh Jacobs. They're saying illness, quad injury. Why got held up? But is the quad really fully healed? And is it something they're wanting to risk bringing him back to make the playoff push? But I mean, they gotta have a lot of help. So do they rush him back? It's one of those things. But either way, they get the Colts D who let Atlanta run wild on them. So that's good. Jacoby Brissett likes Logan Thomas. That's good. It's a good play right now. It's always Fields had a good week this week, but can he do back-to-back consistent weeks is the next question. Atlanta's pretty good at the run this week, so he'll have to, I think, rely more on the arm. And, Ted Mostert wanted to come back in, but they said he was in a bunch of pain and played a league low 19 snap or season low 19 snaps. So it's just going to depend on how your injuries. I think this is going to be the first game ever, playoff game that ends after the 4 o'clock games. We'll know who our champion is as of right now.
Yep, that's a good point.
So it's going to be a fun Sunday. New Year's Eve. Someone's going to be bringing the new year real happy or real pissed off with some collusions that'll be thrown out there, from Joe. So
I'm telling you what, if I somehow find a way to win this game, if I somehow Joe will he's gonna be it's completely rigged. I have somehow colluded the whole time, and I think I may have called in a personal favor to the Baltimore defensive coordinator, being like, "Hey man, I need y'all to play a little soft." This game so my boys can ball out. So, I fully expect to ring in the new year completely heartbroken. But hey, listen, statistically, this was my best season that so far. I mean, a championship would be great. I even got in rest of the year. I said, if I beat Drew, I said I can go ahead and officially start the conversations of, hey man, does this make Cody the L.E.D GOAT if he beats Joe, right? If he beats because, and I knew that would piss Russ off because, me and Russ are commissioner, vice commissioner, right? But Russ has made it no secret that he does not want anyone near his 3 championships, and the fact that I'm threatening it, I don't think it's sitting right with him. I don't think he definitely doesn't like it. So I've just been trying to rib him whenever I get a chance to be like, I don't know, man. I might be the L.E.D GOAT if I win 3.
Oh, yeah. I definitely see that firing him up. But, yeah. You got you and Joe. Everyone's pulling for Joe, if I had to guess.
Everyone's pulling for Joe.
Your team's not 14-1 for a reason. I want to pick Joe, but I don't think I can. I just don't. I think I have to go with you, and I think you're going to tie Rusty this year. And I think you and Russ can duke it out, rock'em sock'em style. So really the GOAT is.
I don't feel good. You start the week as a 17-point underdog. I don't feel good. But I mean, I'm right with my boys. You notice I didn't drop TJ Hawkinson. We're keeping TJ on the IR, so in case I do win, he gets a championship ring. I want him to be on the active roster so that he get a ring if we win. So
So
I feel the same way. I think it's going to be a very uphill battle. I mean, Tyreek is the X factor here. I think Mostert is the X factor, and we have not talked about him, but I think DK could also be an X factor here. He's got his only problem with DK is he didn't have a very high target volume over the last couple weeks. He's only got 6 targets. Now he's been making the most of his catches, but if he was someone getting peppered like 8, 9, 10 targets a game, I'd feel a little bit better. But it's definitely doable. But I just think it's going to be an uphill battle, and I think given the matchup of Joe's players, they all have very solid matchups. I mean, he's got 2 stars in Debo and McCaffrey playing against Washington, so I think it's gonna be a lot to overcome, and I think honestly this is just going to set up. Me and Joe have to go to a third. We have to go to a third championship to figure out who's going to be the better man. So,
but good luck to both of you.
I think I'm going to be I'm excited for it. Either way, I'll be drinking a few on New Year's Eve, so I'll either be super happy or I'll be super bummed out. So, good luck to everybody this weekend. Again, thank you for riding with me this season. I know we lost Zeno halfway through, so I appreciate you hanging on with me and getting a full season of L.E.D podcast done. This was a fun experiment. I think me and you got better as the season went on.
Oh, it definitely got better. It definitely got better as the weeks went on. So I don't know if it could be a every week type of thing next year, but I can see it being every so often type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it definitely weighed on me a little bit as far as like, hey, I'd have to finish the episode and then go get it edited. But as far as our dynamic went, we had to work with a third man, Zeno, initially. And Zeno, I'll tell you right now, even to this day, is a better host than I am. Zeno, he took to it very, very naturally, and his charisma was there, and it was right up his alley. So I hate we lost him halfway through, but I think our dynamic got better as we went on. I think me and you learned how to talk to each other.
Oh, for sure. So it doesn't help that I had the lag connection every now and then, but we got there. We got through it.
Another thing is we're not in the same room. I feel like if we were in the same room, we could kind of read each other's body language a little bit and know when we need to jump in. But I think me and you did pretty good. So we will see if there's a season 2 of the L.E.D podcast. Right now, as Commissioner Look, I got to worry about keeping my league together. By the way, love you, Matt. Love you, Zeno. Do your boy a favor and we'd love to have you next year. I'm just saying, don't make any rash decisions, and I'm not giving up on you. So. Anyway, thank you guys to everybody who's been listening this year. We knew our audience was going to be very small, but we still did it anyway because it was fun. It was fun to do the podcast, and it was nice to keep it relevant. We went through a couple of different strategy changes about how to go about this with. We started reviewing games initially after the draft, and then we threw in a little bit of like fun skits or games, or not skits, but like games and things like that. And then I think we found our groove a little bit with the previewing. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think previewing was probably the best option we could have done the whole ride. So I think
yeah. Well, I mean,
but you got to play with it. You got to learn. Yep. So, yeah, it was a fun ride. So, you never know. There could be more, but get some details and see what we do.
Yeah, well, I'll worry about getting everybody together, and then the podcast may or may not come back. But I would certainly welcome it. I would certainly would. But I gotta get my boys ready to come back for season 13. So, anyway, Joe, good luck. You hating bastard. I love you to death. I'll tell you what. I want to say something nice about Joe. Joe hates on me all the time for being a colluding commissioner. But when we went to the baseball game, the Cannonballers baseball game for my birthday, he was working off duty, and he not only did he bring me a foul ball, right, but the local company Nothing Bunt Cakes. Have you heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he brought me a piece of cake to my seat at a baseball game. So Joe leads on like he doesn't like me, but his actions in the past say otherwise. I think Joe's a good guy, and I think as much as he does not like Commissioner Luck, I think he likes Cody Luck a little bit. So
He's a sweetheart.
he is. He's a good guy. So good luck to Joe. Good luck to Matt and Shaq. May the best man or best princess win. So, but
Good luck, boys.
thanks guys for listening. Yep, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Peace.